Hello and welcome to another amazing chapter in the Gospel of John. This chapter will raise some really interesting discussion points and also it will breed a springboard for our discussion about Armageddon in the next session. But I'm jumping ahead. While we study this chapter, we will look at Watchtower's teaching about the resurrection. You will soon realize that when Watchtower mention certain Christian words, they might give those words a different interpretation from what Christians might understand by those words. And the word resurrection is such a word. You see, by resurrection, Christians means that God brings a body back to life. That is the resurrection of the body. It's the body that is brought back to life. Watchtower teaches that when you die, your body pretty much rots in the ground and absolutely nothing survives you, right? As Christians, we believe that the body, yes, dies in the ground, but then your spirit goes to heaven to be with Jesus. One day, your spirit will be reunited with your resurrected body, which is indeed different from the current body, but yet there is an intrinsic connection between the two. Watchtower teaches that when you die, nothing survives you. There's no spirit that survives you. The only thing that really survives is your memory in Jehovah's mind, right? So your body rots in the ground, your spirit does not exist, is gone, but your memory is stored with Jehovah. And I remember when we were studying this, my wife said, "Are you saying that when I die, God stores my memories in the cloud?" Which was interesting for what she said, but that's pretty much what they believe. So your memories are stored with God when you die, and the so-called resurrection is actually when God creates a brand new a body and implants your memories into that body. And to me, sounds a lot like sci-fi, like clothing, that kind of stuff, but I think I'm jumping ahead again. So, for John chapter 11, what kind of questions could you be asking from this chapter? The first question, you are already familiar with it. Could you summarize this chapter for me and explain how it helps us have life by means of the name of Jesus? Second question, based on verse 25. I understand the idea that Jesus raises the dead and that he gives life. But how can he be the resurrection? How can he be the life? It's like an electrician comes to my to fix my lights and says, "I am electricity." You'd look at that person and go like, "Are you serious?" Right? It's like it's one thing for Jesus to say, "I can raise the dead and I can give life." That's one thing. And it's another thing to say, "I am the resurrection, I am the life." How can Jesus be the life? Now remember, they believe about Jesus that he was created by Jehovah. He's the first of Jehovah's creations. But if Jesus is the life, then when Jehovah created Jesus, he created life itself. That means that before Jesus existed, life did not exist. Does that make any sense? How could life not exist before Jesus existed, right? But that's pretty much what they teach. It's as if Jehovah did not have life before he created Jesus. If Jesus is the life, then he cannot have a beginning. Otherwise, things do not make sense. Moving on. If I understand it correctly, you believe that there will be a resurrection of the dead. Could you explain when and how that's going to be? Now, I think it's important to ask this question to see what their particular understanding is on this issue and the way they explain this, so you know how to build it, to build upon these questions. So next question, you might have to tweak it depending on what answer they give you. The next question, though, is I think that Watchtower teaches that when we die, our body rots away and that body will never be resurrected. Our memories, though, are stored with Jehovah, and at the resurrection, he will create a new body and put our memories into that body. Is that correct? Now, if they disagree with you, please have a look in the description. There is an article that pretty much says as much. Read the article so that you understand what I'm talking about. So once you've asked this question and you got the answer from them, you might want to have some follow-up questions. You might want to ask, so when Lazarus was resurrected, was it the same body or a recreated body? You see, at no point in the text are we told that Lazarus was resurrected in a recreated body. It was the same body. He was wearing the grave clothes, whatever those bandages were. And of course, they might say, well, yeah, but Lazarus' resurrection was a bit different because Lazarus was raised in the same body and he was going to die again. But resurrection at the end of time will be a bit different. So that's why you ask this question about the resurrection, how it happens, when it happens, what does it look like? Because yes, they do believe that some people will be resurrected to heaven, and obviously they will probably need bodies that are suitable for heaven. So they'll probably say, yeah, those who are resurrected to heaven, they have spiritual bodies and so on. But remember that they also believe on a resurrection to earth. Right? Those who have the heavenly hope will be resurrected to heaven, but those who have the earthly hope will be resurrected on this planet. More than that, there are Jehovah's Witnesses who will survive Armageddon, right? They will be with physical bodies here. So all the people who are raised on this planet will also be raised with physical bodies. So what kind of resurrection is that? Is the body recreated? Is recreated to be a body just like the one that we now have? Now, if that's what they say, you might want to ask another question. If God creates a new body that looks like yours and implants your memories into it, then the person that is resurrected is not really you, but a clone of you. So let me ask you another question. Suppose the technology gets better and they can clone human bodies. I mean adult human bodies. Suppose that they offered you to be cloned. They would make a body just like yours, but perfect. No disease, no health issues, nothing. And they offer to take your memories and implant them into this clone of yours. Would you accept it? Right? Just wait for their answer here. And then say, there is a catch though. In order for this to be legal, just one copy of you can be in existence at any time. So they tell you that they have to shoot dead the old you and just let the new you alive. The new you would live as the husband or wife of your spouse and as the parent of your kids. Would you agree to that? Do you see my point? It sounds crazy. I don't think there would be many people who would agree to be cloned and take the memories and move away. Why? You see, they say that Jehovah only stores our memories and then restores those memories to a different body. But you see, there is a sense of identity that me is me. And it's not just the memories. The sense of identity is far more than just memories. You see, they believe that one dies, nothing survives. It's just the memories that are stored in heaven. The bodies rot away and our memories are restored. But is that really me? Just my memories? You see, it's strange when I think of what they believe. They believe that if they work hard, if they go door to door, if they please Jehovah, then if they die before Armageddon, the hope is that they will be raised again, but not really. The hope is that God will create a brand new body and implant their memories in that body, but that's not really them. That's a different person. And if they're still not kind of grasping your concepts, you might want to ask another question. You say that Jehovah saves our memories, but are we just our memories? That's all we are, our memories? Let's say you have a car accident and because of that, you lose all your memories. Does that mean that you are no longer you? Are you a different person now? Are they going to issue with a different ID or what? Who are you now? You see, there is a sense of identity that's more than just memories. So when they say that, well, Jehovah will implant my memories into a different person, That pretty much does not make sense. Well, good for a sci-fi movie, but probably not a good one. One last question. Am I correct to say that the resurrection of the dead will happen after Armageddon? Now, you've already asked about resurrection, how and when, but here you particularly mention Armageddon. Now, maybe they've already mentioned Armageddon, but this is the springboard for our discussion about Armageddon. And I find it interesting, the discussion about Armageddon, because you see, for us as Christians, if you are to ask a born-again Christian, what is your hope for the future? What kind of is your hope that will happen in the future? And probably they will say something, well, I can't wait to be with Jesus in heaven, right? If you truly have a Christian, they will say, that's my hope. My hope is to be with Jesus and the Father in heaven. And obviously we know that it's a bit more than that, but pretty much that's the gist of it. If you talk to a Jehovah's Witness, what's your hope? Their hope is Armageddon. That is pretty much what they're waiting for. Armageddon is mentioned so many times in their literature. Actually, you are probably familiar that they set all sorts of dates for Armageddon. They say the Armageddon would happen in 1914, and then they moved it to 1925, and then 1942, 1975, and all sorts of other dates. Why do they do this? They just want to keep faithful to the organization, all the witnesses, all the loyal witnesses. They need to stay faithful to the organization. So pretty much the organization makes all sorts of false prophecies. But what's the big deal with false prophecies as long as they keep people in fear of Armageddon? Because you see, they both fear Armageddon and hope in Armageddon. Their fear is that they have not done enough to deserve to get through Armageddon. What if they did not preach enough? What if they, as their leaders say, they have the blood of other people on their hands because they did not witness to those people? What if Jehovah rejects them and they don't make it through Armageddon? So on one hand, they are terrified about Armageddon, but on the other hand, they look forward to what happens after Armageddon, because after Armageddon, in their publications, you see the paradise earth. So that's what they are looking forward to. The problem is that after Armageddon is not exactly paradise earth. Well, what's after Armageddon? That's pretty much what we are going to discuss about next time. So what I suggest is you tell them at this point, I have read a few Watchtower articles and Armageddon seems to be a very important topic. Would it be okay if we discuss it next time? Obviously, you ask the question, but you will not accept no for an answer. You just need to say, I think this teaching is so important. I need to understand what you believe about this teaching. So next time, in the next session, I'm going to explain how you can ask questions about Armageddon and the reconstruction after Armageddon. I called it Armageddon, from piles of rubble to paradise on earth, and you will see why I'm saying that. So that's pretty much it. If you have questions, if you have comments, please put them in the comments below. If you are a Christian, you found this useful, please let me know how this helped you, how I can improve this material. If you are a Jehovah's Witness and you think I have misrepresented the teachings of the organization, do let me know. Put a comment below and also put a link to the materials that show the correct position that Watchtower has on these issues. Remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and do share it with other people. Remember the motto, no copyright, just spread the light.